Let us sit
quietly in your place of meditation, which ideally is the same place that you meditate in every day, a special corner or dedicated room that you use for the purpose. In that room, you may have pictures or symbols to help to concentrate the mind. Many of you will have had an eventful day, and how to settle the mind after all the events of a day is a good question when it comes to meditation. We have to learn to draw a line between the realm of activities and the silence of dedicating our attention inwardly. In order to do this, it goes without saying that all of our so-called outward activity will have to be orientated toward the subject of meditation, namely the divine presence. Understanding that all energy that comes through the entire body and everything else that moves is not only related to everything, but is a manifestation of that one divinity. This evening, we have the opportunity to concentrate on the glory of our own life giver, that is, earthly life giver that we call the sun. It plays a drama going across the sky, as it were, like a chariot. And it is easy to take the sun as a symbol of the infinite invisible, the eternal, the life-giving element. And just as we are in the presence of solar energy continuously, with a special arrangement, so too we put ourselves in the divine presence, visualizing it as sitting within the divine rays of light. What does light represent for us? It represents the highest in our understanding. It represents the radiance of goodness. It represents life itself. And why should there be such a special arrangement where a small planet rotates around this central orb, the sun, at exactly the right distance, in the right part of a galaxy, is surely a wonder in itself. Let us therefore sit calmly in the stillness of the divine presence that beams like the sun. Let us feel this presence at the very core of our being, the very central Holy of Holies, visualized as being the heart of your own person. Beyond the layers of skin, bone, muscle, body, beyond the layers of pervading energy, beyond the layers of the mind, beyond the layers of understanding, beyond that innermost housing of bliss, we can visualize the sun beaming its goodness and blessings in all directions, everywhere. And as we feel these beams, let us repeat the sound symbol that represents the sum totality of all. The ancient sound symbol of Om will help to steady the mind. Let our thoughts beam everywhere in a transforming way, transforming unhappiness to happiness, transforming darkness to light, transforming cruelty to compassion and love, transforming selfishness into selflessness, misery into happiness, cruelty into mercy. The thoughts go out in a blessing way to the three worlds, representing by the sound symbol Om, that is, the observable universe, a kind of open space that is periodically dotted with vast bodies. Let us acknowledge that beyond our finite world and our finite awareness, there is a world of undivided, infinite possibilities. Let us now observe how the body is seated, make any final adjustments. Let us take away any identification that we may have with this body simply by observing how it is seated, observing its structure of the spine encased with vertebra. We can instruct the shoulders to relax. We can ensure that the chest and the neck and the head are all arranged in a straight line to facilitate an upward current of divinity. Let us be open to symbolize this by opening the palms. Let us feel that inwardly there is a possibility visualized as a flower opening itself, spreading its fragrance everywhere. And when our heart is open fully, we express our finest sentiments. We are open beyond borders of bias, narrowness, meanness. Instead, beaming a spirit of generosity everywhere. Beaming fragrance everywhere of truth and beauty and goodness and love and harmony. This body is made from many different parts. Even these parts, such as joints, tissue, can be broken down into molecular structures, cells, and there are trillions of them, all working because there is a divine essence within that is, by its very presence, activating the cells in a cooperative way so that we can use this body as a fit instrument. It is like a city, and it belongs to a presence. An internal monarch or emperor or empress sits inside, and because of its presence, every part of the physical machinery works well. You can draw attention to different parts of this machinery, and in doing so, we can accompany our attention or our awareness with a feeling of thankfulness, feeling of wonder, the marvel, the miracle of the cohesion of cells that we call the body. And in our spirit of openness, we register this body to the divine. It belongs not to us as individuals. It belongs to the totality. And more subtle than this body is a field of activity. Let us observe thoughts as they arise. Each thought has an image that goes with it, a picture, a series of thoughts, a series of pictures in two categories. One, novel, surprising ideas, but the other, revisiting previous thoughts. In any event, we can see how they all began with a seed. And as the seed unfolded, it tells a story. And as we look at these, we realize that we are in a reviewing position, not involved. Even though every thought, every image will engage some kind of self-image. And yet at some point, this current of thought changes or stops. Maybe there's an inner voice, an inner review. We can see that as well. And now this realization, as we watch this curious activity, I am the one who is watching. I am the observer of evolving thoughts. I can see and observe the seed I can see it opening up and developing. And before the next thought arises, there is an interval. This interval is the silence of our own true nature. Let us try to explore this inner nature by firstly imagining a scene. The sea as the sun is going down. Perhaps you might visualize it as the sun rising. In any event, the brightest thing on the horizon is the sun. We can observe how it is golden in the center, and as it radiates its energy, it changes the color around it. And all of this is reflected in the clouds and on the waves of a sea. This is the sun, symbol of life. And we can inwardly make a salutation to that being who lights the sun, that shining, all things shine. And just as the sun is a life giver, in the depths of our own being, we can imagine that sun beaming. As the giver of life, protector of all beings, whose radiance and beauty transforms night into day, darkness into light. Let our awareness of this pure, shiny essence be felt. Let us feel its warmth. Let us enjoy its glory. Let us feel its security. Let us place ourselves in the very center of this beaming sun. No body, no mind. Just the essence of pure presence. Let no picture come to mind other than this. Let no feeling come to us other than this feeling of unity. Let us sink down deeply into the divine presence where all things are absorbed. That place where there is no thought, no movement, no inner commentary, pure bliss. And from this, comes only once more the sound of Om emerging from it. Let us sink down even deeper into these realms of oneness, where we are no longer a witness, but we are purely being itself. And now you have found pure peace. You have found the reality of steadiness. You have found the unchanging, the undivided, the infinite. And once more, we can feel how this is like a blossoming flower. And from this flower emerges subtle forms, forms of various colors, various waves of different lengths and frequencies. Combined, they form the mind and the body. And together they form all the organs of perception, eyes and ears, hands and feet. And all the various scenes and performances, actors, dramas that we call this world. Our salutations to that giver of life that beams before us, called the sun. Salutations to the shadow of the moon. Salutations to the drama of air and wind, of space and sound. The sun beams several tons of energy per second. In earthly time, 5 billion years worth. The sun has been saluted and honored throughout the history of man. Leaving flames of energy radiating to circulating bodies, one of which gives rise to our own life. Our salutations to that glorious drama. Our salutations to that manifesting one whose presence acts as an inner controller within the sun, within the moon, within our breath, within our thought. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace unto all.